Continuing to rent is more affordable than owning a home. Welcome back to another episode of Fridays with the Fiddle Fig, where we cover common questions, misconceptions, and myths about real estate. I'm John Selby with the Selby team, and today we are going to cover a few topics I've talked to many of my clients about over the years in regards to renting a home versus owning. Renting is so much cheaper. Landlords love renters. Of course they do. But if you take the average American being the age of 78, and let's say they started renting a house at 21 years of age, and their rent was $1,000, and over their lifetime it never increased, they would pay out over $680,000 in rent. If you take that same person and say they were paying $2,000 a month in rent, which is pretty average for today, they would pay out over $1.3 million in rent and have nothing to show for it. Rents barely go up. Let's assume an annual inflation of 2% over a lifetime. A 2% inflation on $2,000 a month would take $2,000 to about $2,400 in a decade. In 20 years, you'd be over $3,000 a month. And in 30 years, you'd be paying over $36,000 a month in rent with just a 2% inflation. Today's average wage has almost the equivalent purchasing power that we had 40 years ago with home prices. When you own a home, you spend so much money on maintenance. While this can be true, and a good landlord will spend money to maintain their properties, and we're talking about a good landlord, when you own a home, many of the maintenance tasks can be learned DIY, and when you look at it over a 30-year span, the actual relevant cost is very, very manageable. I can renovate and decorate my rented property to my taste. While this is true, you will never see that money again, and in many cases, you will be obligated to restore the property back to the way it was when you originally leased it. A capital investment in a home that you own can increase its value over time. When you own, you are stuck. While this is a valid point, breaking a lease is not always easy or cheap. At least when you own a home, you can choose to sell it or potentially get a tenant in there if you ever need to. When I rent, I don't have to pay real estate taxes. Well, in fact, you do. Taxes are typically priced into rents, and when taxes go up, as do rents. When you own a home, at least you can take your property taxes and write them off against your income taxes. Renters are better off saving their money and investing it in the stock market. While diversifying your portfolio is definitely important, you can look at a home as a forced savings account, where you pay into the savings monthly, and after 30 years, you have a tangible asset that you can use as a nest egg in retirement. I don't have to pay for insurance. That's correct. As a tenant, you will not pay homeowners insurance. However, you will pay for renter's insurance to cover any of your assets. There are much better investments than a home. Yes and no. Housing is an essential need. So to invest in a home combines investment with something that is essential for your existence: shelter. While there are many arguments to be made for both renting and owning a home, there are many positive aspects to owning your own home. Many people feel that owning a home is not a reality for them. However, it may be more attainable than you think. As a service we sit down with potential clients to determine if owning a home is something that they can do now, and if not, we work together to set you on the right track for future home ownership. I'm John Selby with the Selby team, and this is another episode of Fridays with the Fiddle Fig. And as always, if you have any questions, misconceptions, or myths you would like covered on a future episode, leave it in the comments, send us an email, and we'd be happy to cover it on a future episode. Have a good week.